Let's take a look at some of these benefits under this law. Now, the governor, if I can get that slide there, the governor and the deputy is entitled to life pension equivalent to 100% of annual basic salaries of the incumbent governor and deputy. Now, in terms of housing, the former governors are entitled to one residential house in Lagos and another in FCT, while the deputy is entitled to one residential house in Lagos. Now, let's look at transportation. An ex-governor gets 3 cars, 2 backup cars, and 1 pilot car every 3 years, while the deputy gets 2 cars, 2 backup cars, and 1 pilot car every 3 years. Look at the furniture allowance. 300% of annual basic salary every 2 years for both of them. Now, house maintenance, 10% of annual basic salary, that goes for both. And of course, both of them are entitled to a cook, steward, gardener, and other domestic staff. Mind you, it doesn't matter how many they are, and they are all pensionable. Okay, this brings us to the question of the issue of high cost of governance in Nigeria, which has become a very, very disturbing phenomenon. And I have with me a development economist and the chief strategist at Westphalia Resources, Joe Femi Daguro, to look at some of these issues. Good morning, Mr. Daguro. Well, if I would have to get these benefits, of course I would want to be a governor or a deputy governor, isn't it? Why wouldn't I? Why shouldn't I?
It's sad. It's really very sad that this is some of the things people have to be hearing at this point in time. But it's a good thing at the same time that the governor is looking at the point and say, look, he has the intention to cut off all this mess. I call it mess because, you see, since that time that this issue has been raised, it has generated a lot of interest. Most people do not even know what the budget is all about, what it entails. They are just picking up this particular item on the budget and say, oh, it's about the deputy governors and the past governors. So most people, and now you've seen that even some past governors like Babatunde Fashola, he said, look, I'm not even collecting all this. So people are now coming out to tell the truth of who collects what and who collects, why they don't collect and what.
But for him, trying to push it forward,
yes,
looking at how this our system works,
right,
do you think he will be able to pull through?
Yeah, I think the thing is this, the current situation will enable him to be able to push it through. Because this is the time now that people are beginning to take more interest in what is going on. Not only that, if you are talking about cost of governance, this gentleman tells you that, look, he has not bought a car for some time, that he has been there. He has been using all the old cars. He's been living in the same place wherever it has been provided. But look at, people will begin to look at what, not even just the governor now ends, what about the House of Assemblies? Why are the members having backup cars? Why are they, having to use jeeps or whatever SUVs to do their job? You see, when they say they have to have backup cars, and it is not stated, the cost to the car is not fixed. So you can decide to have a Mercedes-Benz, the latest version, and as the 3 cars.
Every
so it is not even stated how much, it is not pegged at a certain, what kind of brand of car. So it is what it chooses to.
Well, the Lagos State is making its own clear what the pension or whatever it has contains. We don't know what other states.
Yes, let's talk about Lagos State. You see, I think it started from this part. It started in Lagos State. Another state maybe started copying the same thing. You see, we are Nigerians. They are seeing this, they are reading this, and they begin to say, look, if Lagos State starts it, what about Ogun State? What about Anambra? What about Ebonyi? And even it will be so sad that some states, they cannot even pay their salary. Their IGR is so poor, and they are still going about all this.
You see, that is the problem. So that brings us to the issue of the general structure of government and a cost of governance. I mean, what's your perspective, and how do we move forward from here?
You see, good thing is, in Lagos State, for instance, we have a living legend, Alhaji Lateef Kayode Jakonde. is one of the favorite leaders that I just look at how simple his life was and is. This gentleman came as a governor, living in his house at Ilukweju, driving his old Toyota car, and still living in the same place. This is the kind of people you see they want to serve, they want to lead, until we begin to have this law-making process as not a money-making process, until we begin to have people who want to go into governance, not because they want to show the kind of affluence that is within.
But for service.
Yes, but you even have first ladies at the top, first ladies at the bottom, you have at the local government first ladies and all that. So this thing, we have to look at it. We don't even know the actual amount or salary the people earn. That starts from there. And now you begin to say special assistant, senior special assistant, special advisor, senior special advisor, and all the senior special advisors, they have their own staff as well. Special advisor has a senior advisor, and a senior advisor has senior special advisor. So
and in fact, even when you have part of the part of what is contained here, the domestic staff,
right?
They are all pensionable.
Listen, at a certain age, how many domestic staff do you really need? Because most of these guys, when you retire, you are supposed to be about 70.
You don't have a limit. It's your choice how many of them you want to have.
Then you are traveling abroad, you carried your domestic servants along with you as well. Is that correct? You are traveling. Why? You see, it is a common thing in this country that we want to be there to enjoy it, not to work for it even. And that is why, listen, I said it. When Jack Onde was there, he set up, a kind of schools. He made schools available. And people will say, Jack Onde school, Jack Onde school. People even messed it up. They call it different names. But do you know what it has turned to be? How many schools have we built within this short period? Jack Onde was able to build maybe 86 or something school in a local government, in a state. So let us begin to take census of what our governors have done. Let us begin to have a parameter of saying, look, within 6 months, within a year, this is what you have done. Come clean, be transparent with it. And this is what the people want to. You see, the funny thing is this. Local government that is supposed to be for the grassroots people is a mess. You don't even know who is your local government chairman. You don't know who is your local government councillor or who is your ward councillor. The problem is grassroots political education. We don't do that. What these guys would do after 4 years, now they have even made local government to be 4 years instead of 3 years that they were running before. They go back there and give them recharge cards and whatever. Let us know how much are we spending on bursary. Do we still have Lagos State bursary or agency for that? Do we still have scholarship for people who are brilliant to go to school? Do we have all these things? These are the things people have been enjoying in Lagos State before, and they should be enjoying it. It should have been better than what we used to have. When I was in school, I enjoyed that. And why shouldn't these young people enjoy? It's so sad, Chime said that sometimes we say, during our own time, we used to enjoy. It's senseless. What is during your own time? That means your father has prepared something for you. So this is our own time now to prepare something for our children, and we are not doing it. And these children, they are just seeing it and saying, listen, what have you done? You keep telling me during your own time there was job, during your own time. This is our own time now. So we are not doing what we're supposed to do. A young man at the House of Assembly will just put on agbada and say something he likes and calling his mates, even children. And somebody, whether it's life, you see them. This is not about fake news. You see somebody that you say, look, Nigerians, I school abroad, and when I saw these people, it seems Nigerians are, they're crazy because they're on drugs. You see, we don't even control what comes out of our mouth. We don't even show love to people. It is not just when election is coming, you print. Say, watch out. The point is that when election is coming, what do these people tell you they want to do? They just go out with posters showing wristwatches. They post like this, or they do like this, and they show different kind of clothes, and they don't tell you what they're going to do. So until we begin to say, what do you want to do? Why are you going there? So we don't ask questions. So when they are there, they're not doing anything. You don't ask questions. So it's a crazy world.
Now, the issue now, the problem is not just with Lagos State.
Yes.
Now, it's about the nation now.
Yes.
And we know that government, both state and federal,
Right.
have been crying, we don't have revenue.
Right.
There is no money to do anything.
Right.
Look at the students. They're at home.
Yes.
They can't go back to
Right.
school. And there is no money to channel to education sector.
Right.
There's no money to channel to health sector.
Right.
And yet, you have politicians earning as much as this.
This is the last time I spoke about this compassionate thing. We are not our brother's keeper to a large extent. Don't you think that even senators and all these people should come and say, look, what is our salary? If I'm earning 3 million or 1 million every month, can't I just say, okay, half of my salary for the next 6 months, I'm not going to take. Can't these people come together and say, look, we're not going to take salary, half of our salary or quarter of our salary for the next 6 months? For the next 1 year, can't people just be ready to sacrifice for this nation? And you are expecting other people to sacrifice, but you don't want to sacrifice? You want to ride your top cars? You want to go on holidays with your wife and children? And these people should just be paying taxes. For goodness sake, people think, look, show me compassion that you are doing something for me. Then I'll be able to support the government. And this is what we have to, this is what the young people want. Not only the young people, don't forget that you have pensioners as well, who are not being paid in some states. You have pensioners who are dying. Every 2 years or something, you say that you come and do verification. And in the process, they are dying. People are dying of malaria.
I listened to an elderly man, a very old man, right, speaking on TV yesterday, talking about the fact that, look, it's not COVID that is killing us.
Yes.
It's our pension, not being able to get our pension, that is killing us. Now, this issue of cost of governance,
right,
that's a serious cancer eating down the governance of this country. How do we begin to address it?
Yes.
What are the measures that, I mean, it's paramount that we just have to deal with this. How do we begin to go about this?
It's something laughable. Like I said, even at the White House, I want to believe that, groceries and things like that, entertainment is being paid for by the president. And you can see that some president, they will say, look, I'll give you an example. We took all these things from somewhere and we are doing what we like with it. And sometimes it looks as if we're having a reverse democracy, not doing the right thing. We just decide to do what we want to do, and the rest we don't care about it. How many governors in Nigeria will say, look, I'm earning just 1,000 naira, and I'm dedicating the rest to charities or to how many? I don't know them, but if you know, you can correct me. How many ministers? How many commissioners will say, listen, this is it? But then they will tell you, look, listen, lawmaking is not about the lawmaker going to his constituency to go and donate money. Then we have to begin to let people understand that. But then how do you want people not to make this money when the cost of obtaining form to contest an election is more than 1 million, 2 million, 3 million to obtain the form? So now, how do you want some people to go into this government, to say, look, I want to be part of the government? The good people don't even have the money to buy the forms. And this cuts across all the political parties. So until we begin to readjust the system to enable people, capable people, and then you don't need to wait for 4 years to see that if this gentleman or gentlelady is not doing the right thing, let us recall. What is our recalling process? What is our process to recall our representatives, if truly they are representatives? So now, if a man who has never bought a car in his life becomes a commissioner and within the first 6 months is driving the brand new Toyota, then the next person wants to look at it, I want to be a councillor. So this is what is going on. And he said he has the right to go there for 2 times. He even has the right. It's not that the people have to vote him. It is right time for, 2 times knee. Sorry, I'm speaking Yoruba. I lost 2 times. So he's going to 2 times. Who told you he has to go for 2 times, right? We have to vote him for 2 times if he has done a good job. Not for you to say, 2 times, so who told you that? So we have to begin to re-engineer our brain. And this is why the young people, they don't need all this kind of craps. They want to say, look, if you want to go and represent me, tell me what you want to do. If you are representing me, what are you doing? I have the right to ask. We have websites all over the place. We have agencies in Lagos. All the governors, they set up agencies upon agencies. It's not functioning. And you have DGs in all these agencies riding big cars. For goodness sake, let's begin to ask these people open questions. You see, they don't do this kind of open session to allow people to come in. Ask one Iyalamala or one Buka woman. She knows how to manage the economy better. Have you ever seen them go on strike? They don't go on strike. If they go to my 12, you see how they discipline themselves. The woman's grinding pepper is on course. If you come late, if you don't watch properly, they sanction you. We don't sanction anybody. Go to the man that is doing the car on the road. He has to charge you 500 naira. He will never charge more than 500 naira. These people with native economic sense, they are better off. And the only thing is this: don't go there. Stay in your house and go to the state house. Stay in your house and let's pay your rent. Let us know what house you are staying in. We begin to fix rent. 200,000 per annum if you want to go to the House of Assembly. Let the people speak. Democracy is for the people, by the people. We are not the people again. We are not the people deciding. They are deciding for us. And there are so few. If 40 people in Lagos House of Assembly, they are deciding for 23 to 30 million people, and they are not doing something right. But where do we have the avenue to speak? I'm just one of the people that are speaking. We have millions of people that they cannot speak like I'm speaking. Until we begin. You see, they say they're having these centers for people to come and talk. They don't invite the people that we talk. Until we begin to say, let us talk. And that is why we have to find a way. Let us bring back certain things. Free health should be something for people. This is something we want to do. The governor said he's going to build a psychiatric hospital. He's going to build another general hospital. Fantastic. I was asking a friend yesterday, where is our school of nursing? Because in those days, you see nurses, they dress well. I don't see nurses just like that before. You know, I want to see nurses and midwives being trained. We have quality people. But what happens? Nigerian nurses are going to UK. They are going to UAE. They are earning fantastic amount of money. How dare you say you are a medical doctor, they have not paid you for 3 months? It's a shame if doctors would go on strike to get their salary. And he puts on the white coat every morning, he's leaving the house, and the people are saying, doctor, no mommy. My doctor could lower. What are we talking about? Not even salary. So these are the realities on the ground. And let's begin. You are talking about education. Do you know what the ASU people say? They say, go and learn a skill, go on holidays and read a book. Have fun. So how do you even have fun when the father and the mother, they are not very paid? 30,000 naira, most people are not having it. And then they say they go and have fun. That means the ASU people, they know that this thing has no end. There's no end in sight. And there's money to do that. Let's cut, if we cut the salaries of our people and we begin to remerge the agencies, even there's some ministry, when you have a Ministry of Information, a Ministry of Tourism, Ministry of Sport, merge them together and let's begin to have a way forward. The way forward to cut all this thing, the mess we find ourselves, we brought ourselves to this mess. And that's why we are loaning money here and there. But good thing, the governor said is cutting the cost as well. He's been able to what is it called now? He's been able to negotiate the loans from whatever digit to single digit, 6%, 9%. It's a good thing. Let us look at it from that ramification. I want us to give the governor a chance. He has good intention. All these are intention. And the good intention is there, but the practicability of the good intention.
Absolutely, making it come to reality. Yeah. And not just here in Lagos State, but the country. I mean, the federal...
even
the
look
federal government
at
should also look at
theirs.
The state governors should look at this. I mean, if we continue to talk about this, we probably would not finish this conversation.
Even the MDAs, they said some MDAs cannot even pay their salaries again. And they said, okay, the federal government will come in and pay. Who are the MDAs? Then before you know it, somebody will say we have 1,000 ghost workers. Or a ghost worker that has an account, that has a BVN. What kind of ghost worker is that? And it's only this country, you say, a snake has swallowed millions. Up to today, we have not been able to gather that snake. A lot of mess, man. Let's begin to look at how to do it and get the people to do it. If you don't do it right, let's sanction you.
Mr. Daguro, we'll leave it at that. Well,
thank you.
Ours is to continue to talk, and let's just hope they listen. Thank you for sharing your thoughts here. Joe Femi Daguro is a development economist and the chief strategist at Westphalia Resources.